People. Que pasa, suck, passe, what they do. Welcome to Crime Time News, where the difference is in the meds. Call it news with a buzz. First thing that is popping in the news, it is called What a Difference a Day Makes. When it comes to Jamaica, when it comes to politics, when it comes to these corrupted politicians and their puppets. These include, but not limited to, the JCF, the DPP's Office, Integrity Commission, the Director of Corruption Prosecution, all involved in this case as it pertains to Andrew Holness, whether in 2016 to 2006 to 2009, and as late as 2009 to 2016. He gave out some contracts that were controversial, would have been deemed conflict of interest. Now, when we talk about hypocrisy, when we talk about a government that speaks from both sides of his mouth, we are speaking about Andrew Holness and the JLP. There is a saying in Jamaica, C-O-C-K mouth, K-I-L-L-S, C-O-C-K. And people, I am spelling this out because whenever you talk like this on YouTube, it sounds like I am speaking about P-O-R-N. Then your video is not monetized. There is a method to the madness. The point that I am trying to make is that a couple of years back, there was an MP, his name is Mr. Azan. He built some sorts of businesses for some people, some vendors in our area. At the time, he did not gain any sorts of money. However, the people say it deems as if he was trying to get some sorts of political foothold. He was trying to buy out the people. I am going to let you take a listen, take a look to the response of the JLP, Andrew Holness and his cronies. And then I am going to show you what is happening as it pertains to this latest conflict of corruption that Andrew Holness was accused of. Take a listen, take a look, and then I'll give my piece.
We don't feel comfortable sitting in Parliament with a Minister of Government who was openly accepted responsibility, who expresses no regret for the act, where a Commission of Parliament has confirmed that the act is corrupt and has referred it for prosecution, and that minister shows no sign of wanting to resign, or the Prime Minister showing no signs of moving to dismiss the minister.
With all the sympathy that one can have for support, this is embarrassing. Not only to the government as a party, not only the PNP, but to the government, to Jamaica, to all of us. Our heads bow this morning with this sort of reaction to it.
So we have to take firm actions in this regard. It is a dark day for Jamaica, where the Prime Minister is unwilling or afraid to act against a minister in which the public has lost total confidence and in which the institutions of the society are all agreed that this person does not enjoy their trust or faith and has breached the confidence that the people have placed in them. I believe that this has the potential, if it continues, to bring down the entire government.
Now, people, you see all the people that are involved. Pernell Charles, Desmond Mackenzie, Babsy Grange, Andrew Holness. All of these people have question signs to their name for more than one incident. This is a clear case of thief, no likes a thief with long bag. The pots are called the kettle black. Talk about hypocrisy. Now people, why I say what a difference a day makes is that we saw that Andrew Holness was denying all of the claims, the allegations that were made about him in that latest report that was sent out by the Integrity Commission forward to the Director of Corruption Prosecution. They were waiting on some sorts of ruling. However, a young lady, Keisha Prince Kamika, who is the Director of Corruption Prosecution, she said that Andrew Holness will not be charged. Andrew Holness is not guilty of some of these charges. Some of these charges, he came out and he explained. However, in two of those charges or claims, he might be guilty. But because of the time frame, because of the delay, the Integrity Commission and Director of Corruption Prosecution do not think that it is in the best interest of the country to proceed with any sorts of action, any sorts of charges against your PM. However, there is more than enough evidence on two of the claims. These two claims are NWC contracts amounting to over $30-something million, at least 30-something contract. Ministry of Education contracts, about 10 contracts or so, amounting to in excess of 21, almost $22 million. So people, do the simple maths with me. 30-something and 20-something are $50 million. Those claims that them say, yes, there is reason to believe that he might be guilty. He could be implicated. However, because of the time difference, because these incidents occurred about 13 to 16 years ago, we're not sure that we're going to get the proper documentation or the evidence or even the witnesses would show up or be available. People, there's a reason why I always mention that justice delayed is justice denied. We understand how we've seen in Jamaica that these lawyers, these corrupted officials, they use the delayed tactics for everything. That seems to be their only defense. Now when we talk about delay, I am going to explain a couple of the delays. These incidents took place about 13 to 16 years ago. However, the Integrity Commission just sent the report or was just doing the report on these charges or allegations against Andrew Holness from October of 2022 last year. And the report just ready in a February of 2023. So people, may I talk about delay. Based on what the Integrity Commission and the Director of Corruption Prosecution said, them just get reports on February 13th or February 14th, somewhere about there. There is also controversy of the date in which the report was actually sent from Integrity Commission to Director of Corruption Prosecution. They were claiming that it was sent from January of 2023. January 12th to be exact, 2023. However, they are now saying that it was a typographical error. That means an error in the typing. The actual date that it was actually sent is February 13th, 2023. Now, people, if you ask the average sensible person with an iota of sense, when you make a typographical error, it is either instead of put the year, which is 2023, you put 2022. What is the likely scenario, likely odds that you're going to make an error, typographical error, upon the month and upon the day of the month? People, don't you realize that these people are doing everything so that your prime minister and his lawyers can go to courts and beat it upon some sorts of technicality, some sorts of error by prosecution, error by director of corruption prosecution, some sorts of error by integrity commission? It is always something. Nothing seems to go straight as it pertains to Conju wholeness. So now we see the blame game in full effect. National Integrity Action, they are blaming the Integrity Commission for not doing the reports on a timely basis. They should have gathered the information from October of 2022. The report just done and sent to Director of Corruption Prosecution in February. So again, justice delayed, justice denied. So the National Integrity Council is blaming the Integrity Commission for claiming that the report that was sent to Director of Corruption Prosecution was not January of 2023, the 12th. It was actually February the 13th, 2023. National Integrity Council is saying that that is an error of momentous proportion. That means it is a big error that can have legal implication, political implication, because then it is making the commission look bad. It is making Director of Corruption Prosecution look bad. There is too much confusion. Now, people, if you realize in a less than a day or so, a twist, a change of heart, because we heard the political people on Conju Wholeness side, they came out and they were defending him, PP clock. Then you heard the opposition saying that this man should step aside. That was about 12 o'clock afternoon. Before 4 o'clock or so, the Director of Corruption Prosecution made a decision and all charges, all cases was dashed out of court. In layman's term, the explanation that was given by the Director of Corruption Prosecution is that it did not make any sense to proceed. Even though some of the claims look suspicious, some of them did not look very suspicious. Conju Wholeness divulged information when he was asked. He made it very clear that yes, him know these people that own these companies that did these contracts. They are his friend. He did not hide from them when they were asking him questions. So therefore, he had nothing to hide. However, the ones that were suspicious amounted to at least 40-something contract amounting to at least $50-something million. He had an interest in these companies. These were his business partner. However, we should not be surprised when it comes to Jamaica. So when we look and we're thinking that, yes, maybe we will get some sorts of justice, the opposition was thinking that, yes, Andrew Holness needs to step down, even though his cronies were defending him. So based on what we're seeing thus far and the history of Jamaica, Jamaican people should already know that, listen, if we expect any sorts of justice from these people in which they deem to be honorable prime minister, if we expect any sorts of justice from even a body that is called Integrity Commission, if you expected integrity from the Integrity Commission or honorable stuff from the honorable PM, you would have been kidding yourself. You must be blind. You must don't understand the kettle of fish that we are dealing with. Corruption runs deep in everything in a Jamaica. And people, this case, once again, is a perfect example. You're not or never going to get any sorts of justice. Any of these people with any sorts of political link or any sorts of clout, any sorts of money link, they will never see a day in a jail. Even if them get charged, even if there is a billion accusations or claims, when it goes to courts, the DPP are going to fling it out. The poor them are going to lose the file. The director of corruption prosecution is going to find some sorts of psychs. She's going to find some sorts of technicality, some sorts of loophole. She is going to give you some sorts of explanation as if you don't have any sorts of sense. This is exactly what we expect when it comes to Jamaica. If you want any sorts of justice in a Jamaica, you have to bring in external prosecution, external investigators, because these people, they are one in the same. All of them are some sorts of peas in a pod. All of them corrupted from the top, the tippity top, to the bottom, to the dregs in a society. Everybody is in for the taking. And people, this is it, a next perfect example. So, when I look at the video that I showed you in the start of this video, for a corruption that was said to have taken place, a lesser corruption, Andrew Holness, Babsy Grange, Pernell Charles, Desmond Mackenzie, said that they were appalled, they were shocked, they were disgraced, shameful or shame to be Jamaican with this type of corruption. That was a lesser corruption. That was lesser cases, lesser amount of money. However, now for a bigger corruption that spanned a couple of years, span Ministry of Education, span NWC, 40 or so instances, $53 million, bigger corruption, them not say nothing wrong with it. People, when we talk about corruption, when we realize that, listen, the Integrity Commission, them have a whole lot of bark but no teeth. They are never going to take any sorts of bite out of crime. That is because they are politically affiliated. That is because they have no sorts of balls, no sorts of backbone, no sorts of spine, no sorts of intestinal fortitude, no sorts of integrity, no sorts of shame, no sorts of morals, no sorts of ethics. What is even worse, now they are claiming or acting as if they are some sorts of victims. We even saw Mr. Darrell Vaz from Portland as say, the reputation of our Prime Minister, and MPs are being tarnished whenever people make any sorts of allegations or claims against them. If you're a thief, or you expect people to just sit by and watch, and people pretty much that is what Jamaica do. If it is not for people like myself, bloggers like myself, not the typical average media, they are not going to say anything. People are actually afraid of these corrupted dictators, criminal-minded politicians in Jamaica. The whole set of them are just the same. None of them not different. But people, like I've told them before, this is the dawning of a new day. You have people like myself who are actually burning the FIRE that have all sorts of link. So therefore, if these people know what I know, then fix up themselves, or a lot of them are going to be losing their US, UK, Canada visa. A lot of them are going to end up in some sorts of pen, more than likely in America. Point blank and period. So anyways, people, thanks once again for checking out my video. If you appreciate videos like this, please show your appreciation by liking, commenting, sharing and subscribing to my channel. That is how YouTube promotes videos like these to like-minded, sensible persons like yourself. Bless up.